What's up, guys? It's your boy Mikk here, back at it again with another video. So, today is a special episode of the Leveling with Mikk show, podcast, playlist thing. I'm gonna have guests, and two guests at that, both of which are streamers, so I'll definitely put the links to their Twitch channels below. They're really dope people. I met them long ago in a galaxy far away called Black Desert Online. And yeah, so today we're going to talk about our perfect MMOs, and what we kind of look for, and like really interesting features, and just kind of the things that we feel like for us personally, again, opinions, um, our own desires for a game. So, with that being said, hit them with the
Real.
All right, and we are back. I say that because I actually pre-recorded the intro, so you guys don't have to worry about me doing that. Haha. So we are here today with our two guests. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. Go right ahead.
All right, what's up, guys? I am I'm Meltdown. It's what I usually am referred to. Some people, as in Tay and Moose, like to call me Side.
Salad.
Those who play BDO. But yeah, that's me.
It's me. It's your boy Moose. I go by Moose on literally everything. Yes, yeah, that's about it.
I love it. Also, by the way, I should just point out everybody that they're the only two people. Well, not them. There's one other person, but everyone from BDO calls me Tay. So if you hear them say that, just don't be alarmed. It's not my real name, so not a name reveal. So there's that.
It's your boy.
It's your boy Mikk. We out here. So today's topic is going to be our dream or / perfect or fantasy MMO. And we got 5 topics or categories that we will hit. And we'll like round robin it up like a good Luke party, you know what I'm saying? And, give our opinions and such and have at it. So the first one we'll start off with, just because it makes the most sense, will be customization. So, what do you guys think were your dream MMO? What kinds of customization would it have in terms of like classes and, I don't know, making the characters, races, all that stuff? I'll let you guys go first.
It has to have a variety of classes and like mixed in with races.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of those new MMOs they like to drop nowadays, where it's like, oh, you're just a human that's doing this thing. It's like, well, I don't want to live another life on a video game when I have to live my own life. Like,
facts.
Doesn't make any sense.
Like, should have
I'm gonna run around as a goddamn centaur.
Exactly. Should have a good variety of races, human. Like some sort of at least one beast race. It has to be at least one.
As long as it's not a cat.
Yeah.
No cats.
Okay.
Cats are fine. Dogs okay. No cats.
Yeah, no cats. In terms of classes, it has to have a good range of classes, and no two classes should be even remotely similar, in my opinion.
Honestly, I think the only times it'd be similar would be if like you're alliance based. Like how WoW has the Horde and Alliance, and other MMOs have like religion based alliances. Like I'd say like in my opinion, like a good one would be like one has a hunter, another one has like, I don't know, name something different essentially, but it would still end up being a hunter.
Yeah.
One of the have you guys played Arcade?
for a while. Yeah.
I kind of like the idea that they have for like their class system, because it's more like you take different schools of skills and you kind of put those together to create like your class per se. So like in my head, my envisionment of like the perfect class system is really like or actually, have you guys played Mabinogi?
I have not.
No? Okay. So in Mabinogi, they've changed it now where you can start off and kind of pick a class, so you can start off somewhere. But generally, go away, ice cream truck. What are you doing? So, there's barely any there's barely any kids here. We have ice cream. Thanksgiving just passed. But in Mabinogi, when you first would start off, you'd create your character and you would have like no skills at all. And you would go and you would learn them from whatever teachers or books or whatever the case is, and then your skills would level up based on you using them. Basically, so then from there, they implemented a class system so that like groups of skills would make you be considered a wizard, obviously, if you're doing a magic, and then they have like knight skills and alchemist and whatever the case is. So basically having like an assortment of skills, right? And then you would gather said skills and, have like a skill tree or whatever. And something where it's so vast that it's off-putting to really try to learn everything, because then you'll never be good at anything. But if you play enough time, like if you put enough time into it, you could theoretically learn everything. I think that'll be it's like a free-form class system where it's not like hard-coded you're a warrior, but it's
right. Create your own class system.
Yeah, like it's dope. And then like being able to say like it's not like the level of your abilities would be based on how often you use them, because that's the only way they get experience. So it's like in real life, like you only are good at one thing if you actually practice it. I think that's like pretty dope.
Yeah, I never knew a class system like that existed in an MMO. That's actually
the head of the game, those guys.
Yeah, so I guess a combination of Mabinogi and Arcade would be perfect, because I do remember there were a ton of different classes in Arcade depending on what skills you picked. And that was cool. So yeah, I think a combination of the two would be actually perfect.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think for like customization, I think Black Desert does a really good job in terms of character customization and what you're able to do. I would like more black hair, but I feel like that's like a thing that I want all the time. And there's only one game I've ever played that has done it right, and that's Guild Wars 2, ever since they added the area where they started seeing more black people. And so now they have all these now they have way more black hair. So they have that top fade that like all the basketball players have, and they have like dreads that actually look decent and shit. It's really funny. But like I think more stuff like that, but like with a Black Desert character customization, and then adding different races, because no one wants to be a human forever. That's so boring. I'm a human in real life. I want to be. Let me be a half dragon priest.
One I was looking at the other day.
Dragonborn priest. That would be pretty dope.
Exactly. Have like a tail and horns, and just like very like poised.
I'm a priest, I swear.
Just don't mind the horns and the tail. I'm definitely good. Definitely good. No one's ever gonna want any of the heels. So any other things that you guys want to talk about or point out about customization?
I think as far as races and classes / skills go, I think that's pretty much about it.
How do you guys feel about like those systems where your race locks you out of certain classes, or like racial abilities, in terms of like making a certain race better at a certain type of thing? Do you guys think that's cool or not?
I'm not a big fan of it, honestly. I feel like it'll just you run into balancing issues at that point, because like some races will have passives that like will buff a certain thing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like say orcs are naturally better at hunters and WoW. Like they have passives that run that better. And then like I don't know, humans would be worse at it because they don't have the same passives, and then you run into buffing issues and nerfing issues.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like the passives should be restricted to the actual classes themselves rather than the races. Because I feel like if you restrict certain abilities and skills from other classes, then you won't get the amount of freedom you might want. Like just because you want to play like a certain race doesn't mean you should really be locked out of a certain skill, I think.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, same. I feel like it kind of makes there's why can't I went to school for this and I can't remember the name. There's a thing that it's called in game design where when you create a certain thing, and even though you give them more options, there's clearly a very almost like defined certain path you want them to take. So it's like the illusion of options, where it's like, here's all the classes you can pick, but like if you really want to be a good hunter, you want to pick this class kind of thing. So it's like you can do it, but you won't be the best, or it isn't the most optimal thing to do for it. And I can't remember the name of it, so if someone ever figures it out, probably in one of my notes from school, but whatever. Why would I know this? I went to school for it. But it's one of those things that, I don't think it's definitely something that when we went through it, they say it's not what you want to do when you create a game. And I think it just, it limits people's creativity and passion to pick other classes. Cause the common thing people always ask is like, oh, what's the best class? Or how do you be the strongest at whatever? And, if I tell you that the only way that you're going to be good at as a hunter is to be an orc, and you're like, but I want to be an elf. And it's like, well, I mean, you can, but I mean, I guess you're going to miss out on that passive. And it's like,
you're going to miss on that extra buff. Taming's important.
Exactly. And then you're like, okay, I guess. So yeah. I don't think I don't think it's dope. It's a nope. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that rhymed.
Don't get me wrong, I have no problem with passive skills, especially racial ones, but it's like if you're limiting out classes and stuff because you're like because of their race, I feel like it's the illusion of not the illusion, sorry, but like you're lacking options.
Yeah.
In the game, and you want people to play it a certain way, especially with an MMO. I feel like that's kind of wrong.
Exactly.
I'm not a fan of that.
Facts. That's why we're gonna just make our own company. We're just gonna make our own game. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
This is little do you know.
Oh, that's true.
Wait. Oh, we got anime. Oh shit, we do have an anime. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, new Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball Best Watch. It's back.
All right. So the next thing that we're gonna talk about is gonna be PvE. So this would include just fighting mobs, dungeons, raids, fractals, if you're from Guild Wars 2.
Oh, I miss those.
And also story, which is also a really weird thing to talk about with MMOs because there are like 5 MMOs that do story right. So
so important though.
It is. It's so important, and so many games fuck it up, and it's hilarious and so sad.
Black Desert.
What story?
Video story is literally like the worst I've ever seen in my life.
Never even knew there was a story aside from that opening sequence where they're just like, you're on a boat, it blew up, and here you are, and you're like, okay, and then you just fight mobs until you get powerful. I don't really know what you quest or pointless. Oh yeah, quest too. So
yeah, there's quests. There's so many quests.
So many quests. What do they do? I don't know. They're just there. Really, they don't help very much.
God, no.
Fuck, like Black Desert. God damn it.
I'm playing it right now.
As we speak.
I see that.
Look at this betrayer.
No, there's a couple buds. They're like, "Yo, we're playing Black Desert." I'm like, "I guess I'll get on and help show you the ropes," but my knowledge only goes so far with this game.
Blew up all my gear, by the way.
Oh yeah, he told me
Blew up all your gear?
when we went to TwitchCon. He told me he blew up all his gear so he wouldn't go back. So that was
All of it gone.
wild. You
But
could
that 100 mil just sitting in your bank, dude. It's waiting for you.
facts.
All right.
So
PvE.
yeah, go right ahead, jump in.
I feel raids definitely a must because with the PvE like BDO for example, to an extent you can get away with not much end game if you have a really good combat system like BDO had, but even then, like in BDO, it was just mainly grind. It would have been nice to have more open world raid bosses, since they didn't have a real
They had like world
dungeon
bosses
thing going on.
right?
Yeah, they had some, but it was just like the mechanics were kind of,
It didn't feel like a boss fight. It just felt like a giant thing that
it
just
was just a giant
Just a
sandbag
bullet sponge
that
of
you had to
sorts,
hit
yeah.
until it died. There was no real mechanics to it.
right.
I feel like I'd be okay with dungeons as long as they weren't the only way for you to get like
Well,
and gain gear.
what I like about Crowfall is, like, what I've heard anyway, is their dungeon system is you discover the dungeon, and if you're the first one to do it, there's like exclusive rewards you can get, and you basically get a name and map out that entire dungeon. So I like the thought of it's really, like, it sounds super dope.
Hmm.
But I like the thought of just having people I just stole this guy's train, sorry bud. I like the thought of running in and like having a mystery of a dungeon and like getting like this elite like kind of discoverability of it, but also you get like the rewards for grinding your ass off to discover this dungeon. Each time you run in, you get like jacked up, and then eventually you're like, I own this. This is mine.
Well, that's pretty dope.
Mhm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, wasn't thinking much of dungeons until you said the word fractals, and it made me realize how much I missed the fractals from Guild Wars 2. Because like the thing about their fractals too is that like each instance was directly tied to their story, which I thought was amazing. Like if you had played through like the first game especially, like some of the fractals would just take you back. You're like, oh my god, I'm playing through this event that happened that we didn't get to experience before and stuff like that. So I think a thing like that would be pretty cool for games, for like story, like actual story-based dungeons, and not go in and kill this big bad and then get loot and get out.
Man, you did it.
Yeah,
Facts.
I'm proud of you.
Get an achievement, maybe a title. Like, good
Yeah.
job. Pat on the back. I feel that though, definitely. I think, and Guild Wars 2 is one of those games I feel like that does PvE like really well, because they have so many different options. Especially since now that they've added like rating to it as well, which I've tried. Let me tell you, I have no idea what the fuck I was doing, and I died very many times. I was like, you know what? Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Which was weird because when I tried rating on WoW, I just kind of walked around and just shot things.
Yeah,
and I was like,
That
oh,
was another one of those, like, it's just like stands in the middle, and you just gotta avoid a couple mechanics kind of play.
yeah.
Like, oh, don't stand in that green goo. It'll kill you.
Yeah, basically. And Guild Wars 2,
Make
it's
sure you cast.
I can't imagine being a healer in those raids though, because
Oh, it's easy peas, dude.
is it?
Yeah, it's you just, like you said, just keep the tanks alive for anybody who drops below a certain point. So like with WoW and then like a good raid group, they'll take like 1 to 2 healers per raid, like raid frame like group,
Mhm.
and then they'll drop you like, so one healer, there'll be like dedicated healers per group. So one group, and you'd heal your group, and if like some circumstances, like if the other healers die, you have to pick up the slack. But and if there's not like good healers, then that's not an issue. But so like you'll keep one group will keep the tanks alive, or like 1 or 2 healers keep the tanks alive. The rest of the healers will keep the raid party alive, so you're not losing DPS over time because you're letting all your fucking hunters and your warriors and everybody just fall off like flies.
Which would be me as a healer. Be like, I don't like their fucking name. Let them die.
I've done that. I've done it a lot. They'll be like, "Oh, why don't you heal that guy?" I was like,
being able to control who lives and dies is just too much power for one man.
There's a troop. I like /woman. I see what you did there. Talk about inclusion. That's it, my boy. 2018. We out here. But yeah, I think with one of the things I think that I liked about Guild Wars 2's PvE that I think all games should is like not necessarily to not have quests, but like to have like those dynamic events that like happen and then progress the story forward. I think have you guys heard of Ashes of Creation? I think is what it's called. That does it. Yeah. So like their whole like node system thing that they have, where it's like you go, there's a node, you would develop it or whatever, and then it progresses like that area's story almost, where you can build, it grows into a city or and whatever, but then monsters can attack it or something. Because it's grown into a city, it's now drawn attention from something else, which would then cause it to be attacked or whatever by whatever. I think stuff like that is really interesting. I remember when they first talked about it with Guild Wars 2, it was the way that I think I wanted it to happen was not how it is now, because now it's just kind of like, oh, these harpies come to this particular village like every 30 minutes. So, whatever. But then like if you don't do anything, they just kind of sit there and just, it's their village until you kill them, and then everybody comes back to life. I think like stuff like that where it's like there's right, just everyone comes back to life once the harpies are dead. They just all been playing dead. Debated. I think it's where there's like a sense of consequence, I guess, in the world, where if you ignore certain things, how it will progress. I think that's really interesting, and I think at a certain point, I guess it's really complex, but whatever. We're not making the game, so who cares? Let them make it complex. So, where it's like a domino effect. So, like, you go to, there's a guy, his farm is being attacked by wolves, and if you ignore him and say, fuck you, I don't want to help you, I don't give a shit about wolves, and then his entire farm gets, farm animals get eaten, right? Then the wolves tend to, I don't know, ravage the city now because the farm is just on the outskirts, and now they're just like progressing forward, and now it's become an issue. So now they're like picking off kids and shit and all this stuff. It's getting really dark. You know what I'm saying?
There's the flow of that kind of world, to be honest.
Yeah.
Where it's like if one mini thing, like everything has consequences almost.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it'd be cool to really see a world like that. It's like, I don't know. I enjoyed the fact that people like that idea, but no one has ever been able to do it.
Yeah, I think it's just the matter of like, anyway. Well, like, yeah, I think it's the time that it would take to like map out so many different scenarios. But I think that's really what it is. But I mean, if they really just created a system that handled that, then that would make the problem easier.
I think the part that would be difficult would be getting all the players. Because like in an MMO, like there's tons of people just running around doing whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
I think like the problem is like you'd run into it. So one person doesn't kill those wolves, but like 10 other people do because they want that XP, they want to get end game as fast as they can.
Mm-hmm.
But then like how would they make that like, oh, that guy didn't do it, so let's kill the city. But these other 10 people, they're like they killed off that pack of wolves. So what do we do?
Right.
Like,
I think that what it'll do is if they had, let's say, a time system in the game where there's day and night cycles and things like that, that like instead of after 10 minutes in real world, then they just respawn after a certain amount of time in the game world, where it would make sense, where it's like canon to the story, where maybe a new pack of wolves now moves into that area because that other pack of wolves was defeated, and then the cycle then starts. So it does still get to do the repetition, but it makes a little bit more sense on a realistic level. At least in that scenario, that makes sense. If you want to ask me about more scenarios, then I don't know if I can help you with all that. But the wolf ones, I figured that one out. We got the plan, so we could just sell our idea.
Watch out, kids. Just watch out.
Yeah, in terms of creating a domino effect, that's definitely where it'll start getting complicated, especially in like, I don't know, like more intense scenarios. But
you didn't kill that fucking one goblin. You became the Goblin King.
yeah, the Goblin King, and now he
has an army. Can split the city in the game. Like, what are you gonna do?
Oh, facts.
There's your first raid right there.
Although, yeah, I would say that sounds hella fun. That almost sounds like have you guys watched Log Horizon?
Yes.
Yeah, that's basically what. Oh, it's in Log Horizon. There's a part it's basically like sort of online, but except they're like in the game, not like they in the game. If that makes sense, like it's not.
No,
it's like okay. It's like absolutely not. So in Sword Art Online, they're like in the game itself, so it's like literally they're playing the game. They're just stuck there. In Log Horizon, they get trapped in the game's world. So it's they remember that it's from like, oh, we were in this game, we played it, but it's like their real life now at that point. And then they have to learn how to do things without the game systems. Oh yeah, it's like Overlord, basically. Yeah.
It's like, that kind of reminds me of.
Yeah, that's such a good anime too. Overlord's so great.
Overlord's really
finished it yet.
Good time.
Almost done with season 2 or some shit.
I definitely need to go back and watch season 2 because I'm trash. Because I've only seen season 1. But yeah, also like dungeons. I want. I don't know how I should. I like what Side said about the dungeons, like how Guild Wars 2 did fractals. I think that's like a really good way to handle it, where the dungeons are meaningful and it's not just just. That's
kind of where WoW fell off. Was their dungeons became just an XP pool. Is basically what it turned into.
Mm-hmm.
Like sure, vanilla. It was a challenge to do it. Everybody wants vanilla WoW back. Well, they're getting it. Blah blah blah. But like they like in BFA now, it means nothing. I walk into a dungeon, I kill a boss, I get mad because someone doesn't know the mechanics, or and I don't feel like dungeons should ever feel that way. Like sure, after maybe a year or two of grinding the same fucking dungeons over again, but I don't think it should ever be like the first time going in. You should be like, oh wow. My first experience with WoW was like, oh, that's okay, it's cool. Oh cool, I leveled up. Neat.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it's been. And it's weird because I kind of was expecting like a more story-driven experience with the dungeons, and really I just kind of went through a lot of them and I'm just like, so we just do this over? Like, what's the point of this? Is there a story to this? And no one really. It's just like you join those like automatic groups and you just follow whoever seems to know what the hell they're doing and kill whatever they're killing, and then bam, you're done. You get your gear, you get your experience, you move on with your life.
It's like what an experience. I killed that giant green monster, and now I really apparently don't like the color green. It's all bad. Green pools, don't stand in that. Kill a green monster.
Yeah, green's not my favorite either. Honestly,
did me wrong in the past.
But green is the color of money.
Yeah, that's why it stole my wallet. I needed a home.
That's funny. Raids are a weird thing. Mostly for me, I don't have a lot of experience with raids, other than what little I had with World of Warcraft, and by little it's just really me being running around and hopefully not dying. So I don't know. I don't really know. Like, raids just seem like dungeons to me, but just more amped up. But like, how can you create something where the raids are like way more meaningful?
Opinion, Destiny D1 was my jam. Their raids, you would beat the main story, and then you'd be like, oh, that's it, that's all it has. And then like a couple weeks later, you'd be grinding power to get stronger and hit that end game. And then you find out there's actually this bigger bad that you unleashed because you killed its like little brother, essentially. So it kind of make the world feel full. You know what I mean? Like, so like so in D1, there's the first expansion is Crota. It's Crota's End. And you walk in and you're like, oh, it's just this giant green hive monster. And this time it's actually green, I promise. He has a giant sword. He basically can it's called an oversoul. You have to like break it and shit, whatever. I don't get the mechanics, but you kill him, and then there's another expansion called House of Wolves where it's a prison that gets out. This guy tries to raise an army, blah blah. You stop him, but then the third DLC, it's called The Taken King, or Oryx, Crota's daddy, travel across the universe to come kill your ass because you nuked his son. Like, he's mad about it. And then you go up in his crib after a while, you kill his best friend, you kill his weird sex dungeon slave, both his daughters, and then him.
Oh, okay.
But like, it has this ever evolving world, because like in the current raid in D2, it's an Amakara, which is like the last dragon, but they're so powerful they can grant pretty much any wish. Well, it wants to die, but the queen, who was supposed to be dead in D1, has trapped this bitch, made her a slave, and like she has her will, and she's all taken, which is Oryx's power. But he fuck, my throat's killing. He does some fucking shenanigans where he takes her, but like she gets her will, so she even has more power now. But she wants to die because she doesn't want to be alive because she's the last one. And so you go in and you kill her in this raid. Like, you fuck her up, you end her life, you cleanse some people from the power that she has. You kill her, and then after that, she releases a curse on the city, which is in a 3-week cycle in the game. So the first week is like, oh shit, like it's you did it, you kind of did it. But then the second week, like there's more taken particles in the air. Like, I saw you're playing D2 earlier today.
Yeah.
So have you run into the Taken yet?
I don't remember what the names of things. No.
They're like Black Thrall almost.
Oh no, I've only dealt with
kind of look like a star.
Those main things that took the
Cabal.
Yeah, them and the Fallen. Yeah, I haven't run into those yet.
All right, yeah. So in the first game, you basically make Fallen your bitch. Like, they're struggling to rebuild themselves almost, and they still try to pick fights, and you're just like, please back off. You're not. You shouldn't be trying right now.
Please forget it.
So there's the Taken, and like they have like little particle effects on the ground and stuff, and it looks really pretty, but it's very dangerous. And you well, that city grows and kind of gets infested with that stuff, and then you have to like fight it off. But then like you fight it off on week 3, they're stronger, like the enemies get stronger and the world gets more and more taken over by this stuff. And then you run into a problem where this bitch Riven, which is the dragon, she put them in a time loop. So where this curse will grow for 3 weeks, and on the 4th week, it'll reset back to the first one. So like having raids that actually mean something when you beat them is super exciting, or even when you encounter them. So like in the first game, you'd run in, like do the Vault of Glass, which is this thing, like the Vex, which have the power, like they are time constructs, so they just run around and break the world and try to kill you because you're the only thing they can't control. Is like their whole mission.
That is pretty dope, actually.
But I don't get that feeling with WoW. You know what I mean? Like a proper MMO is where raids seem to be lacking, but when a looter shooter seems to have a little bit better of a understanding.
Yeah, I feel like just because
how a raid mechanic affects the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's because maybe it's almost a little bit smaller of a scale, I feel like. And one of the things that I feel like happens with games is that they tend to try to focus especially with MMOs, like they'll pick a feature and that'll be their thing, and they'll try to focus on that, and they completely say fuck everything else. And MMOs have like so many different moving parts that you can't just focus on one thing, because then if you do, the whole rest of the game just feels like, oh well, everything just leads me to this. So then what's the point of all this other shit? You know what I mean? Where it's like it's just there just to be there, but not really an integral part to the entire experience of the game.
Yeah.
So we'll keep our player base happy by killing this bullet sponge. Maybe they'll get the drop they want, so they can run into PvP.
Exactly.
Beat somebody up with it.
Ugh, I hate it. What about story? How do you guys feel about story in MMOs? Do you think it's important or not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's very important.
Oh, that's how you go. I talked for a while.
Let's say I think it's very important. There's like, especially these days, a lot of MMOs that have just completely just made their own story into like a garbage dump, basically hot trash. Like
Hot trash.
BDO.
It's so much potential.
Yeah,
It
that's
did.
so much potential.
Oh my god.
Fell flat. Again, Guild Wars 2, probably the best implementation of a story I've seen, because they had the main story. A little bit further down the road, they had the living story, and while the living story was pretty slow to pick up, like all of a sudden they just throw all this shit at you, and it gets like out of control, and like people actually have to work together in order to change the story, which I think was amazing, because the story responds to its players, which I thought was a genius way to go about it. And since Guild Wars 2, there hasn't been an MMO that's even been close to impacting me with the story like Guild Wars 2 did.
Oh yeah.
Like, they've done amazing in that regard, and I wish developers would pay more attention to the story these days. But here we are.
Exactly.
That MMO Amazon's making?
No, actually.
No. Okay. So do you know what Life is Feudal is?
I feel like I've heard of that. It's
I've heard of that.
It's like it's basically just a MediEval role playing game at this point. But they recently came out with an MMO, and that was a pile of trash, to be honest with you. I paid money for that, and I regret every moment.
Feels bad.
But Amazon has one where like they have like a teaser almost, where they explain what they want their world to be, and it's 100% a player-driven world. And I don't feel like an MMO should become that, because then it just turns into Life is Feudal is what it is, because it doesn't, as far as I know, it doesn't have a class system. There's no real like monster or threat. It's pretty much, I'm gonna walk in this town, and this town's gonna be like whether they like me or hate me, and I'm gonna get drummed out of a town because, to be honest, I'm a fucking asshole. It's fun. But it's like, I don't think player-driven worlds, to an extent, without some kind of guideline, should be a thing, or at least be in the same bracket as an MMO. It's like, yeah, player-driven worlds, like you said, like the life story. Is that what you called it?
Yeah,
living story.
Yeah.
The living story. Thank you. But yeah, I think that stuff is awesome, because like the players have some control over the world, but I don't think the players should run the world, because if you run into a spot like your first time driving, to an extent, like, and no one taught you, or you've never seen someone drive in your life, you're gonna fucking wreck that car. You're gonna destroy it. You're gonna be like, I don't know where I'm supposed to turn. You're gonna hit a wall. You're gonna run over an old lady, get out, steal her purse. You never know.
Right.
But like,
Right.
like I like the freedom of that, but without a guideline, I don't think it's gonna do as well as they want it to, or have any kind of impact on people. Like WoW Vanilla, there was a story, and you made friends, and you challenged each other. And then there's stories made off of that, but then there's this. It's like, I mean, it's very alpha, like they barely let anybody know. Like the only place to see the fucking teaser is like through some like Pornhub actually. That's the only place you can I'm not yeah. All over these forums for this thing, it's Pornhub because they have it ripped out every time it's on YouTube, and for some reason they can't reach Pornhub.
Because Pornhub is a superpower. I just want everybody. Pornhub runs half of the world.
They're trying to make a porn in space, dude. All right?
Honestly, didn't Pornhub buy part of the border so that Trump couldn't like build a wall there?
That's what I read.
Yeah, I remember reading that somewhere, and I was like, "What? Did they do that?"
I wasn't sure if that was like a troll thing or not.
Pornhub's got some strong beliefs.
Yeah, they're powerful. Beyond imagine.
Sex sells, dude.
Hey, big facts. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to start a private snap. Give me these checks.
Not safe for work Patreon.
You know what I'm saying?
Side note, did you hear what people at Twitch was doing to people who mentioned Patreon?
Wait,
no.
What?
So a while ago they were talking about how because titty streamers, so everybody knows them and loves them.
Yeah.
They were selling Patreons, like, you know, not safe for work Patreon type shit. And then Twitch caught on to that because they would use Twitch as their platform to sell it. And Twitch was like, all right, you have like impressionable children wasting their money for some tits that they can get for free. I don't know if that's necessarily moral or like we should have that. So Twitch is like pretty much they did a big like banning thing of people who are selling not safe for work Patreons and stuff like that.
Oh, I did hear about that. Yeah.
Wild.
My favorite thing now is the cam girls who think Twitch is okay to do that on. Like straight up, there's like naked ass bitches just having people pay them to like get off on stream. It's hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, there was actually a case of that like last week. And
last one to get noticed. Had like I looked at the stream, like they had like 2 followers and like 1,000 people watching. I was like, all right. They're like Twitch is like, excuse me. Like, what is this?
Like hello? What?
Going for that affiliate.
Big facts. Oh.
Well, that's been a tangent and a half.
That was just too funny. But okay, but no, look. So story, right? Check me out. You feel me?
Okay. All right, yeah.
Take me through this.
All right. So my take on story is that it should be like how the living world is, right? Where it's something that impacts the overarching game, right? Where the players have a chance to have some say in it, to sway it to some degree, right? Almost like how when you have like a single player experience, you make choices and you either reach one ending where everybody dies or one ending where 3 people die. That kind of thing. I think that's really important. And because everybody in MMOs these days, the story has not been any bit of important. Like a lot of games put them there, but because so many people skip through quests, that I feel like no one's ever really compelled to like pay attention to the story. And I think the only games that have really done that well, or at least that make you interested in the story, are games that kind of have like a universe about them, if you will. So like games like Guild Wars, right? Because they had Guild Wars 1, they had Guild Wars 2. Of course, people are invested. World of Warcraft, they have literally a million things. They got books, games, I don't know, pornos, whatever's, cartoon shows. Then like even Star Wars: The Old Republic, like that was a game that like everybody was like,
totally forgot about that.
Yeah, like everybody loved the story for it, but that's because like Star Wars had a universe prior to that game. I feel like as a new game, establishing a universe is like so important that if without it, I feel like people won't have that same kind of investment into the story where they're gonna like actually enjoy it. But that, I think that's the part that a lot of game developers struggle with is how to appropriately establish that story to begin with. Like, how do you get someone to get into this game they've never heard of and then actually care about the people that are there? And the trick really to that is to have like memorable characters. Like, I think that at that point it's just more about writing and how they implement the story. Because if your story is only in quest text, no one's ever going to pay attention because no one reads quest text.
Cinematics, dude.
Right.
Yeah, cinematics are important. Creating like interesting characters with like depth and personality is also important as well. So like, side, Tybalt, you know what I'm saying? When Tybalt, when he died, let me tell you.
Don't bring up those memories again.
I stopped playing that game for 2 weeks because I was very upset. I was like, who the fuck told them they could do this? Who gave them the right? Like, I was pissed. So I think things like that's how you build an investment in the story. And I think if they have a story, if they put characters that are actually worth a damn in the story, then the story will be good. And then they just kind of like, add interesting ways for people to interact with the story, with living world and stuff like that. Like, even where the story affects the world and like there's a lasting effect where like if you as a player come in after the fact and you see it, like people can tell you the story of what happened. Like in Guild Wars 2 with the Scarlet era, when she had like the big old clock thing that like broke apart and all this shit, like Lion's Arch had to be redone, and there's like still remnants of like her ship or the drill or whatever in one of those places, I think Kessex Hill or wherever the hell. So like if you going into the game as a new player now, you just know that that's just how the world looks, but you don't know why. But once you actually go through the story, or if you ask someone about it and they're like, oh yeah, it used to be a little different because XYZ happened or something like that. And you're like, yo, that's really dope. Like something happened in the story that changed the game and now the game is different for it. I mean, World of Warcraft did the same thing with Cataclysm, but I think everybody hated that. So I don't know.
No, a lot of people did not like it. There's definitely a cool idea where they just rip the world apart. And like, look at it, it's cool shit we can do. Like, why'd you do that?
Watch us destroy our own creation. None of you asked for this, but here you go.
Right, just like, oh,
this dragon was angry, so he killed the world. You're welcome. It's like, well, that gives us no context. Why is he angry?
Exactly. So yes, I think that's important.
Offer him anything to eat. Is he mad because we didn't want to hang out that one time?
Yeah, I mean, if he's like Maleficent, he's upset because you didn't invite him to the party and you invited everybody else. Because
that's fair. Yeah.
Maleficent was a true petty bitch. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but she looked cool.
Yeah, facts.
She was like one of the most OP ones too.
Yeah, super facts.
She was invited to a party and fucking got OP as hell.
Oops.
That's why I be telling people, don't invite me to your shit now. I mean, I'm gonna still say no, but all right, I got you. Pox upon you and your children.
It's the thought that counts.
Facts.
Pox upon you and your children. Can't say I have nothing to do with this, but fuck them.
That's how you do this.
What are your guys' thoughts on PvP in MMOs?
Normalized. It has to be normalized. Again,
if you walk in, everyone's on the same level or normalized?
Yes, like Guild Wars 2. I'm going to keep coming back to this game.
Reference Guild Wars 2 so much.
Never played it. Is it really that good?
You should definitely play it.
It's definitely worth a try. I don't know how it is now because I haven't played it in like the past 5 years, but
it's
the PvP.
It's okay.
Was very balanced. It wasn't.
Video on it, didn't you say?
Yeah.
Like a little gnome dude running around.
A little gnome dude.
Yeah, like
July.
It wasn't based on gear. Like in BDO, you could have like 20 higher gear score than someone and completely crush them.
Yeah.
Because of how the way like
get so
defense reduction and AP worked and all that. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
But Guild Wars was like in its own arena, like it wasn't open world or anything, but it was in its own arena. It was all the classes were normalized. You got like a specific set of PvP gear, and you could just customize your tree, set your skills, and fight.
What would be the draw into PvP? So like, as a person, I've done all the raids, I've done the dungeons 1,000 times. Like, I'm pretty much maxed in this MMO world, waiting for the next expansion. Only thing left is PvP. Why should I do PvP?
Honestly, for Guild Wars 2, really the only way, like, there's ranked, so you can go up, try to like build your rank or whatever. But the biggest thing is it's fun. Honestly, it doesn't feel as frustrating because you can like, if you downloaded the game right now in Guild Wars 2 on your computer today, you can, as soon as you get in, go straight into PvP, and you can fight on the same level as everybody else at level 1, because once you go into the PvP realm, it automatically boosts you to the max level. It gives you all of the skills, all of the specs, assuming you have that shit unlocked for like expansions or whatever. And then you can play anything, like any part of that class that you want. You can experiment with builds, all that stuff. And honestly, one of the things that I enjoyed about it, and that's probably why I made so much damn videos on it, is it was fun because it didn't feel like me personally, I don't like doing this whole gear thing. Y'all know I never got geared in Black Desert. It's too tiresome. I don't like to do crafting. I know, it's just, I hate it. I just want to go and like show, like, get good at a class and then like do that. And I think that was one of the things that I enjoyed about Guild Wars 2, was that it wasn't like a heavy, like, you need good gear to be good. Like, you just need to understand builds, or even not really. You can really just kind of make like a crack build if you wanted to and just do whatever you wanted. And as long as you know how to play your class and play to the strengths of whatever you did build, you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Work on more condition damage if you want, or work on more power damage, or whatever you want to do, and you do it. And I think that's one of the things that I enjoyed about it. But then at the same time, like Moose said, like, there wasn't really a buy-in to play PvP aside from what it was fun.
Well, I mean, that's a buy-in on its own, but some people play MMOs just strictly for PvP.
Right.
Like, there's PvP only people in WoW, and that there's it's like such an expansive world, but they can also compete with like the best PvEers almost. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, just from grinding PvP. So it's like, if there's no loot-based reward, like, or like you get a cool mount or something, like, that would be neat.
Yeah, I think like special titles, cosmetic rewards would be nice. Like, stuff that doesn't impact the actual. Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna walk out of PvE with this fucking god tier sword and just wreck every dungeon.
Start flying through everything. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Restricting it to like special titles, cosmetic rewards, that'll make you look like a badass would be nice. And since it's normalized, making a level 1 character and then aiming to be a god at PvP would be pretty cool. You could walk around at level 1 looking like a
just this badass. Every time you go to the market, it's like, what's up? I'm at the guild hall. Level 1, how do you get that armor set? Like,
exactly.
Or like those transmogs.
Ooh, big facts. That's another thing Guild Wars 2 is really
I would drop
good
under
at.
Customization, transmogging. I love transmogging. I think it's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
I mean, also it does an appearance on, like, I got this super cool sword. Oh god, he's using a super cool sword, but you're using like a level 1 sword.
That is literally me all the time. Like, oh, this is just an alt. He just looks nice. He's actually level 1.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think as long as with PvP, I think it should be more so skill based, right? Because I feel like a lot of games always do it based on gear, which is cool, I guess. But then it locks out people who are new to the game that they can.
I never touched WoW or WoW's PvP. I did it a couple times. But that's a big reason I never mess with it, is because I'd walk in and be like, these people are playing for 10, 12 years, have the best of the best gear. I'm going to get one shot no matter what I'm looking like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they know their fucking build inside and out. Their keys, their fucking macro to the tits. Like, hit one button and just fucking explode. Like,
facts. Yeah, I tried WoW's PvP once, and it was not
They had a
fun.
cool idea. I like BGs, battlegrounds. Those are neat, but
It's strange, if you will. Yeah, I just think no, you're good. I just think that yeah, I it just has to be skill based. That's really all I care about. Like it's they can I'm
that it just has to have some kind of reward. Like it's like skill based. I like it. Like Siege is a shooter, you know, but they do ranked, and if you do ranked, you get like a cosmetic little emblem saying, "Oh, you made it this far at the end of this season." Like, congrats! Like, I normally sit in silver, which isn't too great, but
better than bronze.
It's true. Copper's the lowest. Been there. Had to grind my way up. But they do things like that, and it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like this guy made it gold, and like each season's like a little bit different, like of a little charm that you get. It's like some people will just strive to collect those and get the highest they can get, which is like a neat idea. But I don't want to go do PvP and like this massive game that I paid for to not get anything out of it. Like cosmetics is like a big one. Like even if it's just a fucking like fancy dye, you can only get from PvP.
Yeah,
it'd make a biggest difference. So like a mount that has no significance. You just look cool riding around on this fucking super decked out like armored horse or something,
or like a dragon.
Yeah, like how many people you get in the PvP if you had a dragon mount? Just out of the sheer fact that it's a dragon, it could look like shit. Like, dragon.
Facts. You're like, yo, this man got a dragon. It's lit.
It's got a lower eye. Broken.
Missing the foot. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It's a dragon, though.
It's a dragon. Yeah, right?
But yeah, no, I agree with that though. I think as long as they have like an incentive that it isn't game breaking, I'm definitely down with it. I just think that because like you were saying, the biggest thing with PvP that always turned me off was like that cap in terms of like gear that you always needed, that almost every game does, where it's like, well then I'm never gonna get there, so I never play PvP. So like Guild Wars 2 was the first game that I really got into it, and I was like, oh, I just gotta know what I'm doing, and I'm good. I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm great. All right, I fucks with this. So, yeah, it was very eye-opening. I fucked with it.
Yeah, so it's not about getting good gear. It's about getting good.
Yes, get good.
That's what I feel like PvP should always be in like any game.
Yeah.
Because like Destiny, that's where it kind of falls. Is like they just introduced LMGs back in, which there's an exotic LMG where if you shoot somebody, it does like a lightning bolt that strikes down on anybody around him.
Oh, I saw that on the window.
The Thunderlord.
Yeah.
It's it used to be garbage. Well, not garbage, but it used to not be like the best. But in PvP, they give you 50 like one-tap bullets. So
wow.
Because you decided to go grind out this Halloween event, you get this god to your gun that you can now just end this world.
Seems legit.
Googly moogly.
Never heard that in a long time.
I'm bringing back the classics, you know what I mean? Okay. So the next thing, and this one's vague and pretty broad. This one's features. So what kinds of interesting features would you like to see in a game that's not social, right? So combat systems is one of them. Trading, any other random bells and whistles that games have that you would like to see in yours.
Wings.
Functioning profession.
Wings.
Profession system. Wings as well. That's top priority. A nice profession system would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
like profession systems are neat, but I don't want them to take over.
Yeah.
Like BDO, where I have to make fucking 10,000 beer so I can make some goddamn money in this game. Like,
ugh.
You know
I have to AFK for 15 hours a day to cut wood in order to make trade crates. That was fun.
What the fuck kind of lives did you guys live? I never did that.
I didn't do it. I
Once
started fishing and then
once you get master 2 trading, you don't have to play the game anymore to get money. You just have to AFK and cut wood, make crates, trade them in every 2 weeks, get like $1 billion silver, and that was it. That was BDO's endgame, was AFK.
That's
and that
wild.
broke my heart.
That's too, when the profession system is too good.
Yeah, no.
I think having like, yeah, you can like supplement some extra cash in with the profession system, or like even eventually craft, or even eventually like work your way up to craft something unique and that the world now wants. So so Crowfall, its profession system is they have the normal standard professions, and then they have what you can do is, so if you make a unique item, you name that item and you know what I mean, like it's yours.
Ooh, I was just about to say that.
Sword. I could make a sword and call it like Big Dick Swing, and like that's what it is.
Okay.
And that's the name of that sword forever. And anybody who makes that sword now has to make the Big Dick Swing. Like it's like it got to your sword, but it's cool because like professions mean something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not like broken. Like, I can craft this fucking bow and it shoots 6 arrows instead of 1.
You know,
like, that's neat.
You know what would be like dope with that same system is like being able to design, like, because basically you get a sword or whatever, there's like predetermined models for whatever weapon comes out, right? Mm-hmm. But what if it's like there's an actual design palette when you like doing weaponsmithing or whatever, where you can add rivets to the sword and whatever other nonsensical things you want to add to it. So basically you can create a sword called Big Dick Swing and kind of shape the blade to kind of look like a dick if you wanted to.
It's just like a little
amazing.
Just like it looks like a sword, but there's like, you know, just very slightly, almost a dick, but it's not. You know, where it's like, this looks like a dick. I was like, but it's really powerful.
Yeah, just enough to avoid a ban.
Yeah, exactly.
To get the weapon remade.
I think something like that.
Like a customization system.
Yes.
For gear.
Yeah, or any crafting.
Other items. Yeah.
You make this thing, and you're like, yeah, it's mine. I did that. It means something.
Right.
I keep going back to like I need a meaningful MMO is what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
I always go to Crowfall just because it's unique so far. Like everything I've heard on it, it's like that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You give me a goddamn hamster dual wielding pistols. Like I've never seen an MMO with that. I want that.
Me neither. That's crazy.
That's
actually insane.
That was in WildStar.
Rip WildStar.
which is you know, one of the things that I like, and this is I'm weird about things, right? So okay, I really like moments, if that makes sense. So like I like things where there's something will happen and like it creates like this very special moment where like you can always recall, and like if they can implement something that would allow something like this to be able to happen, that would be dope. So I'm going to go back to Guild Wars 2 because why not? Guild Wars 2, the best MMO ever, clearly.
All time.
So one of the things that I mean when I think about moments is because I'm a fucking weeb and I like anime and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I like the idea of being able to say, I watched like a clip of someone showing their girlfriend Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, it starts off real aggressive.
And I'm very positive the girl that got attacked was stabbed and raped by the goblins. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah,
was not great.
Okay, so I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. I might have to watch that to figure out what's going on. It's literally
only in the first episode.
Oh, okay. They just start you off.
And the thing is, like, the anime version, believe it or not, is a lot more censored than the manga.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And the fact that they didn't include a disclaimer on the first episode
was just like
pretty intense.
I started and I was like, oh, okay, it's cool. Oh my god!
Literally.
Guy gets hacked to pieces and shit. And like,
Yo, I've been hearing people talk about it too for so long. I'm like, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna actually watch it or something because I want to see what they're all the fuss about. But yeah, that's on my list of things now. But yeah, so I like the idea of being able to, you know, those moments when in an anime where like you're about to die or the person's about to die and like one character swoops in and saves them or some shit or something like that. Like I think, or like you are watching someone fight and they like end things off in like a cool way or whatever. I think stuff like that is really dope. Like Guild Wars 2 kind of can create moments kind of like that. Never really happened to me before, but kind of possible where you could like almost be dying and then someone pops, like a guardian pops up and puts up a wall or something and protects you so that you can not die. Something like that I think would be really dope. I don't really know how something like that can be even implemented, but I want it.
That would probably tie into the actual class abilities if we're talking about like players creating this kind of scenario. Yeah, like if like a certain class, like maybe like a support class, had like some ability to interact with you in such a way that it would actually be like a heroic save. I think that could be like very, very possible.
Okay, okay. See, you got the words that I was looking for. That's what it is. That's why we keep you around, my guy.
Got words. Thanks, man. Glad to be here. Yeah, just for today.
Just for today.
Tomorrow, different story.
You got to prove your worth all over again.
On that.
That's funny. But also, another thing from Guild Wars 2 is like class interactions, which was like really dope. Where like if you put down like a firewall and someone shoot through it, like their attacks get like fire augmented. That is really dope.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, that is a thing.
Like a spell break. You hear about that?
Yeah, that's the Battle Royale one, right?
Battle Royale.
Yeah,
I've
heard.
Kind of talking about like you throw poison down or like a gas cloud down, hit with fire, it just blows the fuck up.
Yeah, stuff like that I think is like really important for games because, especially in games like this, because it adds way more of an incentive to really like work as a team. Because there's like one thing where it's like you know are all just spamming abilities at whatever giant lump of meat is just standing around that is doomed to die. You know, at least
mind his own business.
Just like 4 people, just like, what's up? You in the wrong hood, my guy. And it's like, this is where I live. Just blows up. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that I think is really dope because it adds a certain level of intricacy to like team fights where then you're like coordinating your abilities. Also in Monster Hunter World too, like isn't it that in Sidekin, because he plays this game more than I do, can't like your other people like fuck up your attacks as well?
Yeah, there's a range of things people could do. Like you can trip people when they're in the middle of like an attack. You can like guide like a monster's attack. Like a lot of people when they play the game, they just kind of run around, do whatever they want, and they don't realize the consequences of their actions. So,
hey, Side, I'm saying this now. We should not play that game together.
Also,
I
facts.
Fuck you with every turn.
It is very easy to get someone else killed in Monster Hunter World. Well, not all the time, but namely in like actual tough encounters. But yeah, it's a thing.
See, so stuff like
I've been a victim.
I can tell.
How's that make you feel?
Pretty bad, man.
But I think stuff like that where there's definitely like there's interaction between the players and it's meaningful where you have to be more tactful, I think also adds, because then it's like, yeah, it's an action based like combat thing, right? Which also might I add, I'm tired of tab targeting. Like, can we get rid of that? I would like everything to be action based now.
I don't know, dude. Some MMOs just feel right with tab targeting.
That is true. I have played some that if they try to like Guild Wars,
Back to Guild Wars.
I'm trying not to. They have a thing where you can do an action camera. I don't know why. It's really weird, and I don't recommend it at all. It's like it's already pseudo action. Just stick with whatever you're doing. You're not an action game, And like WoW feels weird. Like I can't imagine WoW as an action based game. Like I feel like that works well as a tab targeting. So I can agree with that.
If they implemented it in the correct way, it would definitely be really cool. They would have to remove some timing on spells. Like the wizard in BDO, you can pretty much just spam shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, if I walked in as a shaman on WoW and they switch it to action based, I would have to stand there for 5 seconds before I lit off a fucking lightning bolt. Like, that'd be a bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
Although it would be interesting in combat to do. Because if you move while casting, there are some abilities that allow you to.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also abilities, or also most of the time you don't use those because they're pretty much meant for boss encounters. When the boss is like blowing the ground up.
That makes sense. That's why I dialogue. Wow.
So yeah.
Using the wrong abilities at the wrong times is clearly not for when 3 mobs are attacking me at the same time.
I mean, you can do it. Fine. You're just gonna have to wait for that cooldown.
Fuck cooldowns. I hate those shits. Stress me the fuck out.
Is it almost up? It's 4 seconds?
All of them have to wait? God damn it. Who the hell has 4 seconds to wait? Shit. Things are happening far too fast.
You'll die in 4 seconds, sir. You just stand there.
Yeah, facts. Big facts. Let me see, what else? I want to touch on the fact that at the beginning, Moose said wings, and I also agree with that. I will play if a game tells me that you can fly in the game, I will play the game. Just off the strength that you can fly.
That's my thing. Like if there's a scythe in the game, I'm like, download that.
Big facts. Scythes are always cool too. It's not very common that they're in a lot of games, which I don't understand why. Or if they're there, they're not used the right way. So I'm definitely like why are you not using your full potential?
I like BDO's scythe style, but it's not great. The Sork uses more fucking like normal, not awakening skills in PvP and just normal combat.
Oh yeah, facts. Yeah,
like this giant scythe that you get to carry around that apparently you're ashamed of.
It's basically what it is. It's like a sort of online alternate when the chick is really ashamed of the fact that she's like 6'3" or something. Basically that.
Oh yeah.
She's ashamed. The sorcerer's ashamed that she has a giant scythe and everyone else has other things. I mean, the sorcerer has a big sword. Another sword. The warrior has a big sword. I guess I don't know why she should be ashamed, but whatever. Maybe
that's what she feels. That's what she does.
It's a thing. She's entitled to that.
Did you guys play Revelation online?
I played.
I was going to, but I heard it was fun and it became super pay to win.
Yeah.
You got wings actually pretty early on in that game.
You did.
You could fly, and you could do really cool shit while you were flying. Like, once I got the wings, like I was doing nothing but flying around and just doing cool shit in the air
what's that
for
shit?
an hour, and then I never played the game again. But the wings were amazing. Yes, it was.
I think it adds a whole nother level to the world. Essentially, you know what I mean? Like if you have mobility like that, you're like, oh, there's now flying cities that you can end up hitting, and like they're like super hubs and shit like that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask about that. How do you guys feel about if they have flying and stuff like that, like flying enemies? Because a lot of games, if they put flying in there aren't flying enemies or anything like that. You just get to fly and you just ignore things that are on the ground. Have you guys played Fly for Fun?
I haven't, but I used to see it everywhere in ads.
It was
everywhere.
It was wild popular back in the day. But Fly for Fun was one of the first games that I ever played that had flying. And you could, once you got to the point where you could fly, there were monsters in the sky that now you have to worry about when you fly because they will try to attack you and shit. And so,
I think that's dope.
Yeah, I think if they're going to do that, where you're going to be able to traverse a different level of the world where you get to fly, or even if you're going underwater, you should be able to also encounter threats there that I think will make it meaningful. Because, yeah, it's a cool way to travel, and it makes things more interesting, but also it's more fun if there's danger there, because that's the whole point. We like danger.
Yeah, I mean, those harpies, they don't just sit on the ground.
Exactly. They have wings. Let them fly. They don't fly 2 feet above the ground all the time.
Even better if they put like other elements there, like in terms of exploration, like stuff you'd actually find, whether it's like like deep in the ocean or in the sky. Like I think exploration actually adds a lot to a game. Like
it comes back to that that living world. Like you're discovering something means something to you.
Oh yeah, I definitely think exploration is like a big thing. That's a part of MMOs that they want you to have, but like so much of the world just feels empty because they kind of like localize a lot of things you can find that you can't. Exploring doesn't really do much of anything. You're really not going to find anything that interesting.
That's kind of why I like Fallout games. Is the exploration feels really good in those games because you discover this town and then like all of a sudden you find out in this town that these people are actually fucking cannibals and you're like, whoa, what the hell? Like it impacts your character. Like you're like, do I nuke this town because they're eating fucking children because it has the sweetest meat, or like do I let them live their life? Like
right.
Because you discovered these fucking creepy people eating babies.
Which is not funny, but it's definitely funny.
It's a made-up scenario, but yeah, it's just like, it's that kind of stuff. It's exploration. Like if it's done well, it means so much.
Oh yeah,
you can go like talk to your friends. You're like, yo, dude, I found this fucking town in Fallout. They're eating babies. It was crazy. And you're like, no way, dude. Where's that at? And they show them, and they're like, oh my god, that was nuts. And it creates this whole sense of camaraderie because you're out there telling your buddy, there's a town of people eating babies, and you're like, I'm gonna go kill that town because fuck them for eating babies. And you're like, that's right, let's go do that. And then you have a buddy who wants to kill baby eating people.
And then there's 2 of you guys showing up with all of your ungodly powers, destroying a city.
Yeah, right? And they're just minding their business, eating babies. You're just like, fuck you, save the babies.
It's just a family just at home, just like eating dinner, but the dinner is like a roasted baby with like an apple in its mouth or something. And you just like bust the door in and like you guns blazing. They're like, we're just having dinner. Not with the baby. And then you start shooting.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if they could make a world that is like that, where you discover something unique about the town. Like BDO has one town that I was actually interested in and kind of cool with, was that town you run into where everybody like worships the black spirit or whatever.
Oh yeah, and they have like the black spirits like beside them, like carrying
just walking around. And, it was like that was such a unique town, and no other town in BDO is. But when you first discover, you're like, oh, that's pretty neat. It's a memory type thing. If you discover something and it's memorable, it impacts you. I don't even fucking word, all right?
I kind of okay, I swear this is the last time I'm going to bring up Guild Wars 2.
I don't believe you.
No, it's not.
We'll see. In Guild Wars 2, they had these things called jumping puzzles. And
jumping puzzles. Those aren't just Guild War. I need to let you know.
Okay, well,
Kingdom Hearts do that as well.
Okay,
whatever.
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts definitely has their fair share of annoying ass jumping puzzles. Namely, the one in Tarzan's world in the first game. Worst designed jump puzzle of all time. Get that out of the way.
Tell them.
The jump puzzles in Guild Wars 2 were designed to have you thoroughly explore the world, which I loved because either at the end destination or of a jump puzzle or along the way, there were all these things that you could discover, and in that game's case, a lot of them actually pertain to the story. People would find these things while just running around the map, and then they'd actually post about them on places like Reddit and the forums to incite discussions about it, oh, what could this mean and stuff like that, and people will just theory craft to hell about what it could mean. Yeah. And then the devs will actually they'll be creeping on those threads and shit and be like, oh man, like, you know, they're starting to discover blah 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 blah. So then we'll probably release an update in the future that, like, you know, kind of like incite them to explore this more or something like that. Like, they reacted really well to what people found out in the game, like little Easter eggs and all kinds of stuff they left behind, which I thought was really cool.
Right. It's dope. I fucks with that. I have one more thing about Guild Wars 2 I want to bring up. I'm not gonna lie. This may not be the end. So in Guild Wars 2, although this isn't a positive because I didn't really like it too much, the idea that they had of when you went underwater, right, and your combat abilities switched to underwater versions of their abilities. How do you guys feel about something like that, where when you traverse from land to underwater or in the air, where your abilities, certain abilities that make sense on the ground that wouldn't make sense in water or in the air?
That would make, like, say like using an earthquake type thing in the air. I'm just like, oh yeah, you get it. Like, that doesn't have an effect. It's like Pokemon almost. You can't use fucking earthquake on a bird that's flying. Okay. So it makes sense. I like that idea, but then again, I'm also a big fan of underwater because fucking that shit's scary.
That's scary.
I've never played a game where underwater or swimming has been done like fantastic.
Facts.
Because they always do the same thing. Yeah. Where like, oh, you swim for a while and you fight these creatures. Oh, now you're in an underwater city and everything's normal.
Yeah, facts.
So that's okay. But like, I don't know, it'd have to be definitely circumstantial for me to enjoy that.
Okay, definitely. What about
like with air? It makes 100%. Like, I'm not going to use an earthquake spell or fucking nonsense in the middle of the sky and expect it to do something.
All right. So how do you guys feel about like mounts / vehicles? I guess you could say. Say needs.
Needs it.
Like mounts make sense because a lot of games have mounts, especially when the world's really large. Like, it just makes sense to have mounts because why would you run that fast? But then, like, what about like really like big vehicles? Like, if you had like ships or like airships or things like that, or even spaceships or tanks, you know, things that buses, you know, cars, whatever.
Airplanes. It's like Maple Story, dude.
Yeah.
Carried around by a giant bear.
Yeah, facts. Things like that.
And a balloon you can carry you around.
A giant leaf that sparkles, you know. Whatever suits your fancy.
That comes into like where MMO to make money at that point, right? With like mounts and cosmetic items like the sparkly leaf. Like, I wouldn't say like you can grind for a sparkly leaf, but be like, it's Thanksgiving, you get this fucking this maple leaf up in here and fly around on that because I paid $5 for it.
Right. Of course, we're gonna pay money on it.
That shit's cool. Like, I have no problem paying for cosmetics as long as the cosmetics don't benefit you in some weird way.
Yeah, like, don't put abilities and extra skills / perks on costumes like Video did.
Oh my gosh.
That shit was annoying.
Yeah, let's just...
Like, the pets kind of made some sense, but they were like life skilling bonuses, really. So it's like, oh, it's not too terrible. But then,
wasn't it?
In the sides case where
the fact
the hedgehog dude would help you out so much.
Yeah, I definitely did end up getting the hedgehog, by the way.
FYI.
the fact, like, having the pets themselves were fine, but the fact that they would increase in pickup speed and all this stuff when leveling them up, that's where it got a little hazy. Because, first of all, from experience, it was a lot of money to try and RNG the pets up to tier 4. But if you wanted to be efficient in progressing in the game with all the grinding you had to do, you needed tier 4 pets so you wouldn't leave any loot behind. And that's where I would draw the line, because if you compare tier 1 pets, which had like 10-second pickup, to tier 4 pets, which had like 2-second pickup, the difference is monumental.
Oh, so that's a difference. I never looked into that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Like even the speed they went to go pick up the items was different. Like tier 1 pets had like a slow run speed. Tier 4 pets basically teleported to the item to pick it up.
What the fuck?
What's up, bitch? I'm here now.
And that in turn would like reset their pickup cooldown faster because it took them less time to get to the item. So the bonus was even bigger than you would originally perceive. And yeah.
See, this is why I advocate that if you're gonna play Black Desert, you play the private server because they give you pearls. Cough. You know, just saying.
Yeah, Colt hit me up a little while ago. He's like, "Yo, try this Crimson Online or whatever." Okay, download it. It's like, oh, it's still in beta.
Oh yeah, I downloaded it too, and I was like, oh, it's not like out. Okay, they still got like Game ZBD that's out, but like. Well, I mean, Game ZBD's alright. It's not really bad, really and truly. They haven't they haven't put in like the remastered stuff yet. So like that and Dragon, whatever the fuck, is not in there yet. But I think they're waiting on Dragon first before they put it in. So they're gonna do like one big update or something of that sort.
Dragon, dude. Alright, so world bossing. I want to talk about this.
Oh yes.
What are your guys' opinions on world bosses? Are they necessary, or are they just you don't need, or
not necessary, but a nice feature to have?
Yeah, I think I like the idea, especially if the world boss is big and feels impactful. I think it's dope, honestly, because then it almost feels like Monster Hunter or some shit, where it's like you have to fight this really big monster that's just kind of randomly just in the world annoying everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Just fucking up that town. It can be the wolves, dude. You don't kill it. You gotta fight it off right in the big city.
It ate it's like a catfish. It ate everything in the world. Just kept getting bigger, and now here we are, world boss.
World serpent.
World serpent. I think that it's a dope feature. I don't ever get a chance to deal with world bosses a lot in most games because I never play to that level in most games. So yeah.
Well, see, like Maple Story was cool. Like at least Maple Story 2, it was cool because their world bosses like they spawn frequently and on channels.
Mm-hmm.
So like I didn't have to wake up at 6 a.m. to get this cool fucking dragon world boss in the middle of a goddamn thing on BDO. He's only spawn once every 12 hours, and I work all day. And it's like, if I want the good loot, I have to make a sacrifice. Like that's cool and all, but like Maple Story, granted, it's garbage game. It's not. I mean, I didn't say garbage. It has some cool, nice, fun features, and the nostalgia hit me pretty hard. But their world bossing features were great because they would let you know when it spawned and what channels it spawned on. And then on top of it, you'd run up there and you see like 1,000 people just wrecking this fucking massive, didn't make any sense, but like mech in the middle of this city, like, just tearing shit up. And that's cool. But then it became a necessity after you hit your dungeon cap limit, which is the stupidest feature any game should ever have.
Oh my god, that is literally the worst.
Put limits on your dungeons.
There's a dungeon cap in Maple Story 2. That's actually
yeah, you get 30 per week, which is ridiculous because there's some dungeons you can do in like 5 minutes.
Even worse that it's a weekly cap.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Weekly. Well, what they did is they added a reset, so you can get 60 in a week, and it's 15 per day. So it's like that's all right. If it takes me 5 minutes, I'm gonna blow through that shit in like an hour.
But such a feature like that just doesn't make sense. Like, why would you want to limit your players from playing the game?
Like, it's because it turns into a daily game. Or like you log in for the dailies, and then you leave.
It's just so weird. Because another game that did it. Have you guys played Skyforge?
No, I heard.
I have not.
I heard it went real bad when I hit console.
I don't know about all that. I stopped playing long ago. When it first came out, it was like super grindy, and they had this like really fancy crap where you could unlock all the classes on one character, and they had like basically like a Crystarium type thing where you had different nodes that you put points in, and then you would follow like a node path to get to classes. So when you did dungeons and whatever, you got these little sparks, right? And there were 3 types: there were red, blue, and green. I don't remember what they were called, but those are the colors. and there was
RGB, baby.
yeah, facts. There was a limit to how much you can get like in a week. So you would play, and you would obviously you have to grind for all this crap, grind for however long. Then you'd hit your cap, and then then it's like you can't really play for the rest of the week because you're locked out from really doing anything, and you're not getting the stuff you need to progress your character. And like it was so strange because when I found out that's how it worked, because of course you know me, I never level up enough for shit to really affect me. When I found out how that worked, I was like, so why would I want to play this game if I can't like work on getting better on my downtime, because if I work too hard, I eventually hit a cap that now I have to wait until a certain time to be able to begin to work on it again. Like that
was a big reason I quit playing BDO, is because it turned into too much of a chore to play.
Yeah, facts.
You would be like, oh, you did it, and then you're like, oh, it's cool. Now I don't feel like it feels like doing dishes. I don't want to fucking do dishes.
So
outside, spend 12 hours chopping down trees. Like, why the fuck would you do that? There's so many better options out there. Like,
facts.
Like it makes sense to have like a cap if it's story based. Like, oh, this person isn't gonna be here for this long because they took your items. You know what I mean? Like, at least they have a reason to do it. But then if there's other stuff to do in the world, it'd be cool. Because like, what you end up doing is you're just gonna end up PvPing or some shit waiting throughout the week because you're bored because you don't want to. I don't know, go hang out with friends because you're in a shut-in.
Like me.
I'm pretty bad about
Same.
it. That's a low saying, like, yeah, me too.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that cap thing is just a strange feature. It makes sense, like you said, if it's a story thing, but like everything else.
Well, like that's the thing Destiny does. Like it's my Guild Wars, but I've played so much in that game to where like it's now like it makes sense, like because they at least build it in the story. Like there's a murder mystery they did for Halloween where you would have to wait. Granted, I don't think it should have been a weekly cap because that's ridiculous, but you do like a part of the mission to level yourself up or to get to the next quest step, and then they'd be like, "Oh, we have to investigate this" or some nonsense. It'll give us some time. It should have been like a day or two, personally, but they did it a week. Where they're like, "Yeah, next week." It's like that's silly. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But like if it makes sense to have a time gate, do the time gate, but don't rely on time gates for your economy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's what really ends up happening is that they kind of use that as like a fallback plan, so they don't have to do certain things or like have to implement certain features. Just have like, oh yeah, if we just kind of lock them out, it gives us time. It's fine.
It's like that's cool if it makes sense. But I don't think I should be having a daily dungeon limit.
Facts. Okay, so I think we're on our last thing, unless anyone has another feature they want to talk about.
Not that I can think.
So the last thing, and this is probably one of the.
Sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. Party bonuses.
Oh, there you go.
I love party bonuses. That's a good feature to have.
Oh yeah, party bonuses is good.
I agree.
Incentive to play with other people. Oh, also, taking away the ability to kill steal. So you always get, if you contribute, you always get experience to whatever is killing. Because like, fuck, in Guild Wars 2, they do this. If you fight a monster, you get the experience too, even if you're not in a party or whatever the case is. And so it almost incentivizes, however you say that word. It makes it more beneficial for you to want to help people at random because you're still getting something out of it. It's not like, oh, because Moose hits the monster first, if I come and help you, I get nothing out of it. I just help you kill whatever the hell. But
silly.
Yeah, I think that should go hand in hand with that, with the party bonuses too. Also linking quests. I hate when you're in a party with people.
Terrible quests.
Yeah, I hate that shit. When you need 10 monsters, I killed 5, but yet you still need another 5. Why does I have to do this? Why does it take so much longer? Then you can't power level people. which
Then
it's also fun, but whatever.
higher level than malts, dude.
Facts, big facts. Log on 2 different computers or some shit if you can, and like have your alt character follow your main
I
character.
straight did that.
Hardcore
dude.
multi-box.
Did that to fish.
What?
Yeah.
Dedication.
Video up.
Hashtag dedication.
Hashtag kill me now.
All right. So the last thing we're gonna talk about is like the lighthearted stuff, the social aspects of MMOs, because it's a game with a boatload of other motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So there has to be like social things. So what kinds of social stuff do you guys want to see in your
I liked
game?
MapleStory 2's housing system. I thought that was cool because you could go into other people's like houses and like rate it and whatnot, and they'd get like a leader type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like people who clearly put a lot of time into their houses. Like some of them are absolutely insane.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of those houses. It's wild.
Yeah, I think it's a cool feature because people will be like, "Yo, come check out my house. Look at this crazy stuff."
It's like Cribs, MapleStory 2 version.
that is.
Yeah, pretty much.
MapleStory 2 had like its fair share of mini games and stuff too,
yeah,
they
did.
People. Yeah, I think mini games would be cool.
Oh yeah,
and to my knowledge, they rewarded like a pretty good amount of like EXP and stuff, so it makes it pretty worthwhile. And to like you can have fun at the same time with it with other people. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like and then they had not just the world mini games, but you could also invite people to come do your own personal mini games. Like you would get like a little like mini game cubes or whatever that you would like pretty much host a lobby for.
Oh yeah.
And anybody who wanted to join could come in and join, and they're like different ones. It was really neat.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
That's pretty dope.
I like that. I like again, I've never actually seen this implemented, but the concept looked dope. Of where you have like a friend system, and then you also have like a rival system as well. I didn't really know how it worked, but you could set someone, like when you add them, you can add them as a rival. What exactly that did in the game, I never got to figure out because I never played it enough to know what it did. But like basically, but the concept was really dope. Like I can just imagine like if it is something like that where you add them as a rival and like every time y'all like are almost like in a constant PvP battle almost. So like anytime you guys like saw each other, you could just freely fight or something like that. Like I think that would be like pretty interesting because then it's like how I always wanted to destroy Syed in like Black Desert because but he was an insurmountable wall that I could never defeat. So there was something like that where it's like I'll just be sneaking up on him as he's chopping down woods and like, haha, got you, bitch, and like try to kill him when he's AFKing.
Damn, exposing himself.
Exposed.
Damn.
I like the thought of the rival system if it's something similar, kind of like that.
Yeah, if it's like that, I think it'll be dope. I think that's something that's in there. Also, guild housing is like a thing. I think. I don't know why I like guild housing so much. It's really weird. Maybe I'm just weird, but I like the idea of if you have a guild and if you're in the guild and you can get a house, why not get a house for the whole damn guild and then everybody can show up there and like y'all have parties and shit there or whatever guild events.
No, yeah, I actually like that a lot.
Like
I enjoy guild housing as well. I just think it should be BDO's guild housing, where you have to fucking fight a motherfucking clan or another guild to buy a goddamn house that you get for a week.
Yeah, that's a little extreme. Which is, it's fun if you got to be able to. I think if they had it where they implemented something like that, where you got a house like or like a regular guild hall, but then you can vie for like a guild castle, and the castle, like in Terra Online, the castle floats above, wherever. That I think who wherever it wants to float. It can just float into the.
Yeah, okay, I remember that.
Yeah,
I've seen those things everywhere.
Yeah, that's pretty dope because then you can say everybody does get a chance to get a guild hall, so you can get one and it's cool. But like only like the best of the best guilds get like a guild castle. And it gives more an incentive to really like work together as a guild to build towards something like that. I think that'll be dope as well.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of guild halls and stuff like that. Like, and that ties in again to like having like other stuff to do with your guild, like in the hall. Like, if you were to have, like in Maple Story 2 case, like the mini game cubes and stuff like that, just like stuff that you can arrange with your guild to just like do on like a weekend or something and have a good time.
Right,
it'll be
like,
fun.
Like a little arena, you guys can like go and fight in and stuff. Like get practice matches in for PvP and stuff like that. That'll be dope.
Yeah, like our fight nights.
Yeah. Those fight nights.
Those are fun.
Those are
never forget.
Never forget. Hashtag.
Me getting my shit pushed in by side.
Big facts, and you just keep getting up and just keep trying, and he'll just be like, "You're doing great. You're doing great." Barely does any damage.
They're like, "Yeah, we'll take off some gear to fight you." That's not what I want.
See, that's why you need to have the normalized PvP.
Agreed,
there.
Facts. So the fact that you have to take off gear just so that you can try to like level down to like fight someone, that was wild. Like, I'll just take off some stuff because I like have like 500 gear score. Like I have 100. Like what?
Also,
that's like it comes a problem because then like you're not gonna run into someone in the fucking open world PvP. It's like, I'll just take off my set bonuses to fight you real quick.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
how do you guys feel about like marriages and stuff in games?
As long as it's not like a necessity, I'm fine with it.
Well,
what would a title like?
What would be like a? Oh, that's all you want? Like a title? That's it? Like nothing else.
Well, I mean, like there's people out there who are like completionists who will like title hunt and like achieve hunt and stuff like that.
Just coming up, hey, make a girl character so we can get married, so I can get that damn title. Goddamn it! Like,
well, why is it got to be a girl, Tay?
Oh well, okay. I mean, facts. This is true. Excuse me. That's true. Most games these days don't do it, but that's
bad.
But,
no.
And it would be nice to have like maybe like just like extra like little fun stuff. Like a few shared emotes, like maybe like a special costume that you get like between the two of you and stuff like that.
Yeah, y'all like
that stuff would be fantastic.
There's a game. Have you guys heard of Dream of Mirror Online?
Nope.
No. Yeah. It's really old and really weird, and I don't expect you guys to know it, but I've played a lot of games. Dream of Mirror had this really weird feature where it was like a red line of fate that would connect you to like your soulmate or your lover. And like literally you would just be like in the city and like you'd see like a really faint red line connecting you to some random motherfucker, and like you could hear your heart beating fast, and basically you could become lovers easier or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember how that's
actual penetration.
No. I don't know how far that system went, but I knew that was the thing because it would happen a lot. I would be running through the city and then like my heart would be beating and I'd be like, I don't care about love. I'm trying to level up. God damn
it. What's going on? Do I need to work out?
That's actually really interesting, though. I've never heard of anything like that.
Yeah, it was.
I like the idea of that, but I think it should be an optional thing.
Yeah, I feel like you should definitely turn it on if you want something like that to happen. Because then it's like it's cool because you can meet people who you wouldn't normally just randomly just talk to, right? Because then it's like, oh, there's clearly a line of fate connecting us because random number generators.
The game said so.
Yeah. So here we are. Hi, my name is who I am, and you are whatever. We're supposed to be fated by systems. So What's up?
MMO blind dating.
MMO blind dating. That's basically what it was. How do you guys feel about like pet systems? Like or let me see. Not like video
okay,
pets.
to be honest.
Not like video
Like
pets.
a companion type thing.
Yeah. They can
Would that like tie in with classing? So like hunters, they get pets, but other classes don't. Like,
no, not necessarily.
how would you?
Because I think those would be battle pets. Well, I get yeah, they can be battle pets, right? And so that's something like those pet classes, like if you have a necromancer or if you have a hunter or something like that, they have like their pet system in battle. But then like there's your just regular companion pets that you can have. In that same game in Dream of Mirror, you got an egg, basically, and the egg would follow you around because that's, you know, eggs follow you around. And
Did it also have a line?
yeah,
Like,
no, it didn't. but you can. The concept was like you would have to take care of the egg, and like you would have to do like certain like weird like social things with it, like you'd have to pet it or something like that. And then after a certain amount of time, it would hatch into a pet, and then the pet would like a Digimon evolve, and or Pokemon, you know, whatever you're fancy, and it would evolve at certain points of like it gaining experience and you showing it a certain amount of love. So something like that, where it's like cool just to like for like a completionist kind of thing, just being able to collect pets because you can, and then like getting those eggs and taking care of them and blah blah blah. I think that whole egg system thing was cool though.
I like the idea of it. I mean, I like pet collecting, like taming and I like animals and shit like that. I think it's a neat like idea.
Yeah, I fucks with that. That's dope. Let me see. What else is social that I think?
I mean, you have the obvious like chat box.
Oh, facts.
Spamming world
Everybody
chat.
just chatting.
Spamming world chat.
Cancer feels good.
World chats in every game are literally the worst places on the internet because everybody
Pretty much.
is so horrible. Oh my god.
That's one of the things I actually liked about a BDO was the fact that you needed a megaphone to shout into the world, and you have to buy that with real money. So at least if you want to be like a cancer kid, then you had to give them money in order to do so.
So only the
And
most
Put a lot of
dedicated.
people off. Yeah, exactly. The most dedicated trolls could do what they wanted, but it put a lot of people off from being, you know, assholes.
Yeah, that was fun. And it was also annoying too because when you, as a regular player, just wanted to be like, I just want to shout this out to everybody so they can all hear it. Like, I need a guild or something like that. But it's like you need a megaphone and you gotta pay real money. It's like, God damn it! Now I can only yell to whoever is close to me. Shit, I want everyone to know. Like that was always annoying to me. But then I also understand because I know people and people are horrible. So that's.
I know people.
I know. God damn it. What about music? How do you guys feel about like playing music?
Gotta be good.
Yeah, if it's not good, I don't play with it. I just turn it off.
Like there are so many MMOs these days where you would just substitute your own music and just like mute the game music. But
Facts.
the games where like they actually pay attention to the music and make it really matter and like mean something are games I enjoy a lot. There's a certain game I'm thinking of, but I'm not going to bring it up because I said I wouldn't do it anymore. So that game, yeah, Guild Wars 1. Actually, yes, Guild Wars 1 actually had amazing music. I never muted the music in Guild Wars 1 because it was so good. And you know, the sequel had really good music too.
The sequel.
Like there were times where I would just be wandering through like I still remember my first day, like walking out into the field, and then I can't even remember what the track was called. I think it was like A Land Restored or something like that. Started playing, and I was like, damn. And I just sat there for like 10 minutes just listening to it before I even moved my character like another muscle. It was like one of those moments that Tay mentioned. Just like one of those moments that I would always remember, and I thought that was really cool.
Don't you just miss that like jumping into a new game and experiencing something for the very first time, like really fresh? I need a new game. We're waiting.
I'm putting my face to the fucking pavement trying to find another MMO. It's been real bad. There's like all these ones that like show promise and then they just fall short. Like Ashes of Creation seemed cool, and then they're like, we have this battle royale, and I'm like, well, now I lost all interest. Thanks.
Yeah, it sucks too because like a lot of companies these days, because of how many MMOs are falling flat, are terrified of starting to create one because for one, it takes years of time to like prepare and get everything right, and then the companies just don't want to deal with that anymore. They'd rather make battle royale games or something where it's like quick get in get out type of games that are taking over.
I get that if you drop that in as like a mini game, like cool.
Yeah, like a separate thing that you can do, but it's not like the game.
Well, it makes me laugh because MapleStory 2 plans on having a battle royale.
Don't they already have it? Because I think that was out before the game.
It's not in yet. No, it's not in yet.
Oh, okay. Because I remember before it came out, they had like Mush King Royale and then the game, and I was like, so you just have everything. You just do whatever you want, huh? I see you. One other thing, also on the topic of music, that I really liked, and this was something that Mabinogi did. I guess MapleStory 2 does it too, I guess, but I never really played with it. Is that like you have instruments and you can create those songs that you want to play for the instruments. So like in Mabinogi, because that's where I have the experience, you had like music scrolls, and whatever instrument that you had, you would literally play out whatever it is. So like I had scrolls of like anime openings or some shit or whatever that I bought from someone.
Yeah, MapleStory 2 is very similar like that.
Okay. I figured that's what it was. It seemed like it, but I was like, I'm not doing
the Pokemon theme song I played on piano.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think stuff like that is really dope because then it's also like Sad was saying earlier, it's something else to do aside from, all of the other things to do. Because, like, ultimately, an MMO is basically a big-ass time dump and, give us options on where we want to spend our time. Do I want to come in and, do a bunch of PvE today? Or do I want to do PvP? Or maybe I just want to chill with the homies and sit at the guild hall.
And some music.
Yeah, play some music. We'll have, like, a party and have dance emojis or emotes. And everybody like
big fan of dance emojis.
Yeah, facts. All of those. I want to be able to dance.
So what about so one thing Destiny 2 did that pissed me off quite a bit was they made so like there's male and female like sexes obviously in each game, and you can either be a male Titan or a female Titan. And I most of the time I'd go with the female class because the armor set would just look way more sleek and exciting. And because this whole like social justice warrior nonsense they did, now if you're a female, the armor looks as if you're wearing a fucking like 2 sizes too big on you. Like, it's annoying because like you look more like a fucking dude than you do a chick. It's very annoying because like D1. I would have like a slim waist, but the shoulders look dope and the belt look awesome. And then, and then as a male, I'd look like this bulky, tanky motherfucker. And it's like, that's kind of cool. I like that aesthetic. And then this one's like, everybody's a tank. Like, I'm the juggernaut. Let's fucking go. It was the most annoying thing I have ever witnessed. Little things bug me so much.
I'm not really a fan of stuff like that. Like, I feel like if you're gonna, the choice between a male and female is purely aesthetic, right? And so the idea is that if you should cater to the fact that there are aesthetics. Now, granted, some games really do be wildin' with like female stuff, because literally it'd be like she's a 100 and wears like a piece of paper over her nipples, and like she's slightly covering her box, and it's like, yo, yeah, like, yo, why is her choach out? You wildin'. Like, why is there, oh shit,
you gonna go fight a dragon in that shit? What's the matter with you?
Yo, that's that, like in video, that fucking silk nightgown shit, the gold one, the, what is it called? You know, side, you had the shit.
I can't even think of it, but I know which one. It looks like 2 pieces of toilet paper. Like,
yes, like, why is that an outfit? Like, I don't understand. She's practically naked, but like so many games do that with female characters, where they literally just be like, as you get more progressive in like the game and you get stronger, you just lose clothes, because you know that just makes more sense. I mean, it should just be cool. Why does she have to be naked? So, and I think because their concept is like, it's either they're naked or they wear clothes like men. So, and it's like, why can't they just wear girl clothes that they're not naked? I think that'll work just fine.
And that mainly tends to be like an Eastern thing. Like a lot, pretty much every MMO that comes from Korea is like that. There hasn't been a single exception so far, besides MapleStory, because they can't, it wouldn't, like, putting in detail there, like, people wouldn't even really be able to notice, especially in the first game.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, so that's, I definitely feel like if I'm gonna play a girl character, I want to be able to distinctly tell that I am playing a girl character, but like, I also don't want her to be naked.
No, it's not, so they didn't do in D1. Like, you would have the same armor set as a man, but you would clearly tell that you are a female.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
But like, now they changed it to where you can't tell that you're a female at all. I think the warlocks kind of get a little bit different. Like, they get a little bit of some respect for the females in that case. They're not wearing like hand-me-down men clothes.
They just got
like
a big
the hunter
brother.
Doesn't look the same. Yeah, that's what it is. Their parents. But like, I don't know. Like cosmetic things they changed. I don't think they should have. It's just annoying.
Yeah, I also don't like how in every like fantasy game, the wizards always end up having to wear dresses and shit. And I mean, I get it, robes, whatever, but like, why can't they just be wearing like light clothing? Why can't they have pants that are? I mean, they're wearing pants under the shit. They're not just fucking freeballing under these damn robes. So they got pants and this long ass fucking shirt looking like a 2005 gangster with a tall tee on. Why can't they just, I
love
it. Love it. Why can't we just let them have like regular shirts, or even like a little bit of armor? I mean, let's switch it up. You know what I'm saying? In 2019,
Frodo got that mithril, dude.
Yeah, I need something. Just a little bit. I mean, I get it. They're supposed to be quote unquote weaker because all they do is read, I guess, because basically nerds are weak. And if you go outside, that's how you become strong. So that's basically the narrative they're driving. But like, yeah, I just want like,
that's what this podcast is really about.
Stay inside.
Rise up.
The truth has been revealed. So yeah, that's like a personal thing. I always hate that, like, in everything that I see when I'm like, I don't want to wear a dress. I want pants. God damn it. Shit.
Let me have pants.
Never knew I would want to wear pants so bad in a game.
Well, that's why I like transmog like a lot, is because like, oh yeah, you have this dress because it's better, but because I found pants earlier in the game, I can now look like I'm wearing pants.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. See, I fucks with that. That's what I'm about. Pants.
Always wearing pants.
So in terms of like settings, how do you guys feel about like the typical like fantasy medieval type setting? Is that something that you guys like prefer, or would you like other types of settings? I prefer it
because I've tried the whole futuristic sci-fi with like swords and guns, shit, and it's like, it just doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel like like I should be in this world.
Facts.
Yeah, it feels a bit out of place to me whenever something is like that. Like, I think the only exception to the rule would be Eve Online. Just because of like what all you can do in that world. But for the most part, I definitely prefer like the medieval type setting. It's more interesting, if anything else.
Yeah, I think I like that too. One of the games though I think that I did end up liking is have you guys tried The Secret World?
I wanted to. It looked really it looked really interesting, but I never actually to it.
Because it's pretty interesting. It's very heavily story based, but like the concept of you being in a real world where it's like this is literally like London. This is like wherever, I don't know, Castlevania, so whatever, whoever, the real place. I don't know. Castlevania is what I call it now. But yeah, but like you had powers, right? But like Moose was saying, there's swords, there's guns, there's like magic or whatever. It does feel weird because it's like you look like some dude that works at Hot Topic, but like you can blow things up. And it's just kind of like strange, but also I think if they implemented the character part differently, it would probably work, because the playing through it, like the settings and like playing through a lot of like that fairy tale, like folklore kind of things, like that kind of stuff was really interesting. Like you deal with, what is the Castlevania? Is it Transylvania? That's the name, Transylvania? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, in World World, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Castlevania is the game.
That's the place. That's the place. What it's called? Transylvania. Okay. Transylvania. That when you go to that map, right? It's basically what you would imagine that would be like going through like vampire shit and whatever the fuck else is going on over there. I've never got that far in the game, so I don't know. But yeah, but stuff like that is really interesting because it's like it plays on the fact that things that we talk about in the real world and we kind of know, well, we don't know exist, but we believe to exist, or you have superstition about it or whatever. But then it's like to see it play out fully, where it's like, oh, we talk about ghosts, like, because ghosts kind of like go be at this like haunted house place, but then you go to a haunted house and like a real world setting in a game and then are fighting ghosts or shit. I always thought that was really dope. So I think that is an interesting take on an MMO thing. I just think like Moose was saying, it's just the approach is weird because you have magic and swords and guns.
That's shit.
Because if you can get a gun, why not?
And like
use
those,
that?
in those sci-fi things, I feel like I have to have a gun, even though I want to play melee.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I want to run around with a fucking lightsaber or some like knockoff of a lightsaber of sorts, but like you see other people with like a fucking laser rocket launcher, you're like, but that thing looks cool. And
Facts.
And I feel like I have to use it because it looks so cool. And then you're playing uncomfortably, or not how you want to play, because this guy has a gun that does like double the damage your little laser sword does.
Yeah.
Basically Kirito and Gun Gale Online.
Oh my god.
Alright, let's be honest, so that final fight scene was dope. Okay.
Yeah. Basically,
no lie about that.
But it only worked because it was Kirito. Because if it had been any other player in that goddamn game, they would have just died.
Just fucking knock him to bang.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything else that you want to talk about?
Well, in Guild Wars 2. No.
Guild Wars 2.
So we have learned today that Guild Wars 2 is the best game ever, and we all collectively hate Black Desert, because basically those are two games when we want to talk about something good, we went Guild Wars 2. Talk about something bad, We talked about Black Desert. So we we're clearly biased. This was the whole point of this podcast. We hate Black Desert. Play Guild Wars 2. That is what we're going at.
I mean, Maple Story for fresh breath.
I will say that Black Desert definitely had the best combat system of all time. I think
it looked good too. Bad social, and it became way pay to winny.
Yeah, way too much. Yeah, and like the idea of putting in button commands on your keyboard instead of just single buttons felt really nice, especially when doing like. Yeah, it was weird to get into, but once you start like actually doing combos and stuff, and it just kind of like becomes second nature, it feels really satisfying. It's almost like a fighting game, which I really enjoyed.
Yes, exactly. That's like one of the things that why if I play Black Desert, I mean I'm not playing the real server. I'm going to the private server, guys. That's where I play. So
support.
Links in the bio. Okay, so but yeah, no. So, but yeah, if I whenever I do go back to Black Desert, it's always because it's just so relaxing and fun to be able to like execute those combos and like fighting the mobs, even though it literally just amounts to nothing because I'm not really going anywhere with the game. But it's just nice.
PvP and make money, and that's like it.
Yeah, you make the money to get the PvP, but once you get the PvP, what are you making the money for? At that point, it's like
exactly.
Yeah. So it's I just enjoy like the fighting part. I think that's really just the fun of it all. That's the only reason I go back. The combos. It's it.
The only reason I've gone back is because friends are like, "Help me."
Tell them don't play the retail server, play the private server.
Yeah, no, they bought. One of them bought it for another buddy of mine because they wanted them to stay up later. So slow. It took him from Wednesday to Saturday to download
it. Jesus. I mean, I wish I would have known you had people who wanted it because I had some free codes from TwitchCon that I could have gave you.
Oh shit! See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Isn't that Black Desert on Xbox though?
No, it was just
We'll revive the realm on Xbox.
I would have to buy an Xbox for that. I'm not doing it.
Not touching that. Sorry.
I am
Come
okay.
on.
I played it at TwitchCon just to get the bag. Okay, that's it. God damn it!
Get that bag.
Secure the bag.
The bag was pretty nice. The bag was nice.
Yeah, facts.
Quality
BDO bags.
They make good merchandise.
Literally just roll it up in there like I'm never giving y'all any of my money again. Game's trash, but let me get that back.
I deserve this free shit.
It for a while. I should get that bag. In Guild Wars 2, where my bag at?
Facts. Yo, I wish they fucking had bags there, bro. I wish they were there, period. Shit, I would have been there the whole damn time.
That's an old game. How old is Guild Wars 2?
I think now it's about 6 years old.
Yeah, 6 years. I think it came out 2012. God, I remember that. I was working at Abercrombie and Fitch still. What the fuck? I was skinny. I also didn't have a car.
Rough times.
Wait, you can play Guild Wars? Oh, it's the first Guild Wars for free. Interesting.
You can play Guild Wars. Yeah. You can play Guild Wars 2 for free, up until 80. But you can't. You don't have access to none of the stuff from the expansions, and you have limited bag space. You know, typical like play for free, but I want you to clearly buy something so you can actually experience the real game. Yeah,
it's not even that expensive.
Yeah, it's really not. So yeah, so if you do it,
Just talking about it so much, I think I want to do it.
Yeah, yeah, that's
it's honestly worth a shot.
We have done it. The point of the podcast was to get at least one person to convert. We got Moose to convert to Guild Wars 2. We have succeeded in our goal. So
still might get that crow file.
I mean, still get it, but you know, we still gotta wait for crow file to come out. That's the problem.
No, you buy it and you get in. That's
wait,
it. You just run there like alpha testing.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's no You pay the $50 and you own the game.
$50? Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's really expensive. Don't get me wrong, it's expensive as fuck, but I want it so bad.
It's like, wait, hold up.
That's easy. But yeah, no, you get in, and then it's like, and yeah, it gets alpha testing, beta testing shit up until release right now. So you pay for it, you're in.
I will look into that. Maybe when I got just $50 playing around. You know what I'm saying?
I'm waiting.
I still got Christmas gifts to buy myself, so I gotta figure that out.
Personally, profile, dude.
No, I gotta get it. I need a. Well, one I need a new hard drive to be able to do that because my 2 terabyte hard drive is almost full.
Oh yeah, dude.
Porn, dude.
Yeah, you would think, but it's really just all the YouTube videos because I have all of them in one folder and it's like 100 and some gigabytes. So that's really what.
And they're cheap right now, dude.
Yeah, I'm
time to get them. Cyber Mondays.
Yeah, I'm trying to buy a 4 terabyte one because I feel like that because it took me a year to fill 2 terabytes, so I imagine it should take me 2 years to fill 4. So I think that'll be more at my speed. Hopefully, I mean,
I want to talk about one more thing. Membership stuff.
Oh, like subscription models and stuff like that.
No. Like, so I buy Guild Wars 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna use it as an example. And I'm in.
Welcome to the club.
Like, if you pay like $5 more a month, you can get like 90% more of this game. You're like, I feel like I have to do it. Like RuneScape, you get like a quarter of the game unless you pay.
I forgot about that.
Like, that shit I can't handle.
Locking content behind a paywall is one of the worst ideas, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're gonna do it, either make it so that I can make the game free, make me buy the game, and then that's it, or just make me pay a subscription for it. One of the three. I've done all three, and I'm okay with all three of those. But if you're like, here's free, but pay a month to get more, and it's like, why not just make it a subscription-based game and call it a fucking day? Like, you being way more complicated than you have to, my guy. You wildin'.
Yep.
Because, like, WoW's okay. I pay the subscription for WoW. Sure, whatever. It's alright.
Well, at least I get the whole fucking game.
Exactly. I bought Black Desert and whatever other games that I bought that were MMOs. I can't remember. Elder Scrolls.
All those MMOs.
I bought those and I played them, and there's no real.
Totally forgot about Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, it's another anomaly that not a lot of people play as much. I don't think. Well, I think there's definitely a community, but it's just like
a very rough start.
Yeah. Yeah. It's still alive, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's still doing what it intended to do.
Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, I bought those, and then I played literally almost every free game imaginable.
They're always bad.
Yeah.
They just don't hold up.
Yeah, they're always bad. Except for Cabal Online. Cabal Online was good, and Aether Saga Online was also good.
It's just like Knights of...
that's so many games you're talking about that I've never even heard of before.
Listen, I go way back. Okay? I'm ye of all games.
Damn. Like, the most obscure MMO I probably played is called Supreme Destiny. I don't know if you guys have heard of it before.
No, I've never heard of that one.
It's only for the people who bought Supreme outfits.
But
it's that kind of MMO.
Other than that, I've been playing,
I got a Facebook page.
It's killing it. Don't even look at it. Don't even look
server,
at it.
Dude.
No, don't.
Origins.
Don't.
I got a new server.
I can't believe that game is still alive, first of all.
Yeah, November 20th, weekly maintenance.
Yo, wild.
It must be on live
this
support.
This looks awful.
They're gonna cut the. They're gonna cut it off.
Coin.
Well, why does fucking...
They're still using Skype for quick support.
Wow. Xfire? I haven't heard Xfire in so long.
All right.
That's wild.
It's 160 megabyte download.
Really?
I'll see you guys on Destiny, Supreme Destiny.
Facts. We'll download it and like play right after this because clearly that's all I'm gonna take.
The thing is, though, weirdly enough, that's the only MMO I've ever actually made money off of, and it wasn't like a small chunk of money either. Like I sold, like, because like you had like your regular character, and then like there are like these specific things you had to do. Oh no, you're fine. There's like these specific things you had to do in the game to get your character to become like god status. And over the course of like 6 months, I ended up doing that. And they were worth so much. Like I leveled my god character up to max level and sold him for $2,500.
What? Really?
Yeah. Like this, like I had like a god beastmaster character, and this random rich ass kid. I don't know if he was a kid. He probably wasn't. But he hit me up on like the forums. He was like, "Hey, is your beastmaster for sale?" I was like, I don't know, man. Like, what are we talking here? He's like 2,500. I'm like, gone.
Have it.
Here's password.
Perfect way to quit this game right now. People
is wild.
Really rich people played that game, and I was a poor as fuck. I was like,
my dog came up
14 years old, just trying to hustle some money.
You like 13, 14 and got 2,500 for an account? Yo, yep. When I was that age, when I got $20, I was balling. I would have
fucking hung out. Yeah, dude, I remember my first job. I made like $100 every 2 weeks. I blew that shit so quick. Everywhere I was like, I got money for days, dude. I'm out of money now. That's unfortunate.
Yo, I miss those days when I like had like such small checks because I had such small problems. Like before I had a car, so all I had to pay for was like a bus pass, which was like $60 for the month, and I could travel anywhere I needed to go via bus. And I paid my phone bill, which was like $50, and so I was lit, and that's it. I didn't have no health insurance, no life insurance, none of that shit that adults gotta pay for. I don't got none of that shit. I was living my best life. I was
no money, no problems. You
Facts. That's so true. It's so true. Once I started making more money, it doesn't mean anything because the more money I make, somehow the bills increase and there's just more things I have to pay for. And it's just like, what?
Because you're like, oh, I can afford this now.
Yeah, you know what it is? I think it's what it is.
I'm doing that. I'm going to that right now. Straight up, like, I got a new job. I got fucking money. I'm like, ooh, I can buy like the premium package of this now. And now I'm like, I'm paying like $30 a month extra.
Exactly. That's the problem. I gotta live like I'm working part time. That's what I gotta do. Because
I just bought a Nintendo Switch. And
same.
Last night I was talking about, I was like, I should get another Nintendo Switch.
Like what?
Fuck not.
Wait a minute.
Why'd you get another one? You got one. See, that's why people ain't supposed to have no damn money.
I'm fine with the one.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, the one's good.
You know, it's funny. I only got. I'm so thankful you did because you'd have been like, so I have another Switch. Why? Don't ask me.
You guys want a Switch? Like 5 of them.
You know what you could have 5. Just like have like a giveaway on stream at this point because you have to. Oh my god!
I've run out of HDMI ports into
So, oh, Moose, bless your heart.
Yeah, no, dude. That's obviously I'm making more money, so I want more shit. I need it.
I mean, listen, you gotta your lifestyle change when you make some more money, or you know what it is. You've always had the same lifestyle, you just couldn't afford it, and so as you make money, you start to try to buy the things you would normally buy. So ideally, the goal is to make enough money to live your true lifestyle.
Just spend it all on MMOs.
Yeah, facts. Really,
bring it full circle.
Yeah, that's really what it is. like paying like the
every
highest
pay to
tiers,
win MMO you can.
and just pay yourself to win, and then be the top tier character. Like, this is what it's like to feel power.
Have you heard of I think that's what it is. 1 second. Let me look.
The Googles.
It's only in Korea right now.
Ooh, okay.
What's it called?
Moonlight Blade.
Lost Ark.
Oh, Lost Ark. Never mind. Okay, never mind. Oh yeah, I have heard of Lost Ark.
No.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's Diablo 4.
the Diablo 4 you all wanted.
Oh man, no.
I fucking love some Diablo though.
Same.
I'm gonna play Immortal. I don't even care. Play it, give it
He's like, I refuse.
Blizzard just. Oh my god.
I
can't.
Yeah.
Can't trust them anymore.
You can't. It's not their fault.
It is. They gave Diablo 4 main stage, opening stage at BlizzCon.
They didn't do it because they so what the plan was, they wanted a demo ready for BlizzCon 2018, but they didn't get it ready. So that was the issue. That's why it wasn't revealed, because they're gonna have a playable demo where you got to play for so long, and then. But I guess they plan on having another playable demo by 2019, and then the game should be out 2020.
Okay.
It's not like confirmed, but like there's a big major leak that happened just a few days ago on.
That's what they want you to believe.
Well, after that fiasco, that's pretty much the only choice they have.
I guess like,
the only choice. God damn it.
Running into the issue is.
Yeah.
So Activision's like stepping in more now. It's like, we need more money. Everybody's like, but why?
That's what we
At
said.
what cost?
Everything.
Yeah, like you're gonna. Well, I guess so according to some unnamed people, they were only gonna release Diablo Immortal at first in China because that's the kind of base they wanted to reach. But then they also were like, the rest of the world will be very upset. So they waited and decided to do a Western, like a full world launch rather than just a Chinese launch.
Interesting.
Because everybody been like, oh, how come China fucking the next like Diablo thing? Oh my god! And then they'll come out in the West and be like, but we already saw everything on the Chinese streams and shit.
Yeah.
That guy downloaded a Chinese or got like a Chinese so he could play it. Like
that would have been the whole story. True. If it would have went to China first, just because they fucked with mobile shit, yeah, I would have been pissed. They would. They would send me there.
They wanted the lesser, the heat, and everybody's like, "What the fuck? Diablo Immortal? It's a mobile game."
Frick frack.
And granted, I really wanted Diablo 4. It's fun. Played every Diablo like through and through. I was playing it yesterday, actually. Diablo 3.
Yeah, I saw that actually. I have played a little bit of Diablo 3 on PlayStation.
It's good on console. Well, it's okay on console.
It was fun. I actually got one of my friends to play it, and so that's really the main reason why I played it a lot, because
I get it on PC, dude. Carry you to destiny.
Carry me to destiny. Just
it's like in Destiny.
Carry me everywhere with your wide back, because I'm clearly fat. There's a lot to carry. I mean,
not a way to distribute.
Facts. Okay. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it. Anybody got anything? Any closing remarks? Any closing statements?
No, I just hope
Twitch
that
TV.
Follow me on Google Plus, Twitch, Twitter.
Go ahead, do your thing. Do your plugs. I'm gonna link y'all shit.
No, I'm not gonna do plugs.
Do your goddamn plugs.
Twitch.tv/MeltdownXYZ. I stream Monster Hunter, and soon when Smash Ultimate comes out, first of all, the world's not gonna see me again. Because that's going to be my life after December 7th. Let me just throw that out there.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to
every other game being dropped.
Smash.
Just like secretly like match up with him and like destroy him every time.
A sleeper smash champion.
Hey man, I've been on the power rankings a couple times.
Just once or twice.
Just what
You're crazy good. Crazy good at games.
Yeah, he is. He's really good. I don't understand it. How he gets so good.
The only thing I do. I literally only play games.
Like I don't go outside. I go to work, but then I come home.
And I work overnight, so I literally don't see the sun.
you should go outside like right now. Just a couple minutes.
Just
I should, but right after
like
this,
a vitamin D deficiency.
Right.
I'm going the hell to bed because
just open up your curtain,
just
like a little bit.
Just
in that.
it's blinding. I can't.
It's blinding.
I will actually not be able to fall asleep if I open the curtain.
No, you close it. You just get some sun on your body for a second.
Yeah. Like just like open it a little bit, but like face away from it. Just let the sun like hit your back. You know what I'm saying?
Just enough to restore my original skin pigmentation.
Right. Exactly. I can't finish your thing.
No, I'm done.
All right, go ahead. Moose, it's your turn.
All right, it's twitch.tv/Moosey564 MOOSEY564 and Twitter @gamer Moose. That's all I got. That's all I need.
All right, so thank you guys. I appreciate you guys for taking your time out
I
and
appreciate you
talking to me and all that stuff. Side, especially because you were sleeping and woke up, and now you're going back to sleep. So basically, you only woke up for us. So I appreciate it.
Gotta support the boys.
That's what that is. That's love.
Mary woke me up too. Don't feel the bad side.
Mary is the true hero. Okay, tell her she's the best.
She's like, "Hey, it's 11:30." I was like, "What's at 11:30? Like, why are you waking me up?" Oh shit!
Tell Mary she's the best. Okay, so I said it.
I'll let her know.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, and with that being said, I'll put the links to both these guys' stuff in the description. I don't have anything. Y'all know who I am because it's kind of my shit, so I don't have anything to plug for y'all. But follow me on Twitter.
It's your boy.
It's your boy, Mikklock. You know what I mean? We out here, gang. We out in this bitch.
Oh, you didn't see it, dude. You're my Charizard in Pokemon Let's Go.
Am I really?
I named you. Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm lit. I'm Charizard. Oh, so that means, side, you also have to do the same thing. When I know you have Pokemon, so. You got to switch, so clearly you got it.
Got Pokemon?
He has to.
I mean,
what kind of Pokemon you got?
No. Wait, let's back up a little bit. Okay? I bought my Switch off Amazon yesterday. It gets here Monday. Okay, I don't have anything on the Switch yet.
So you didn't buy the games?
Let's go. It's good.
I
shiny Magikarp yesterday. Fucking living it.
See, you wildin', my guy. Yeah. So, I'm out here. I'm lit. Now, I mean, follow my Twitch because I be streaming and shit. I'm actually going to stream right after this. I'm going to start Kingdom Hearts 1. So, yeah.
I forgot you're playing all that.
Yeah, I know. It's so bad.
Are you playing them in order?
I am.
Oh, shit.
It's very frustrating. I'm not doing that one on Proud, though, because that was just that's not happening because I haven't played the game too long. So, yeah. I'm done. We're outie. Mikk out.
Bye.
See you guys.
Games,